The movie begins with Serki, who is out on a fishing trip, just like he usually does. Some days he returns with a catch and other days he doesn't. But suddenly, without warning, he feels something heavy caught in his net. He looks closely and is stunned to find a beautiful girl entangled in the net. Serki quickly pulls her out, praying she's still alive. He starts performing CPR, and after a few tense moments, she begins to regain consciousness. Serki tries to find out who she is, or at least her name, but she tells him she remembers nothing. He remains curious about why she was in the sea, and he senses there's something mysterious about her. With time, she slowly starts to regain parts of her memory and asks him for his name. He tells her she can call him Serki and suggests she go to the hospital for a checkup, but she strongly refuses. When she sees that he insists on taking her to the hospital, she threatens to throw herself back into the sea. Feeling concerned and intrigued, Serki promises to keep her presence a secret and takes her with him. They arrive at a house and she asks whose place it is. Serki tells her it belonged to his late mother, who used to prefer living in isolation. He gives her food and a blanket and tells her she'll stay there until they figure out what to do next. We are then introduced to Serki's daughter Annie, who lives with her mother Mora and her stepfather Ellis. Mora is divorced from Serki, and Annie suffers from kidney failure. Serki is responsible for taking her to her dialysis appointments. While Annie is getting her treatment, she asks her father to tell her a story. Serki begins to tell her about a fisherman who once found a girl caught in his fishing net. Annie says she must have been a mermaid, but Serki tells her she wasn't. Later, the doctor gives Annie a new wheelchair and tells her she must rest until they find a solution for her condition. Annie loves her new chair, and Serki takes her back to her mother's house. There, Mora gets into an argument with him as usual, but he doesn't respond and simply walks away. Back at his mother's house, Serki is shocked when he can't find the mysterious girl. After searching around the property, he finds her washing her clothes and singing. She asks if he really thought she would leave, and he admits that he did. He also notices that she's wearing his mother's coat, and she explains she had no other clothes, so she had to wear it. Serki is preparing his boat for another fishing trip, and the girl asks to go with him. He refuses at first, assuming she doesn't want to be seen by others, but when he sees how disappointed she is, he changes his mind and lets her join him. While they're out at sea, the girl sings a tune she remembers, and to his surprise, the net quickly fills with fish. Serki is stunned. Every time she sings, the net fills like magic. He tells her that her voice brings him luck. Grateful, Serki uses the money from that day's catch to buy her a dress as a thank you gift. Then he picks Annie up from school, and they have a playful race, his car versus her wheelchair. He asks Annie if she remembers the story he told her. He says the girl from the sea could sing, and her voice brought the fisherman good fortune. Annie responds that such a girl couldn't be human. She believes that sea creatures might respond to voices like hers, that maybe it's a way they communicate. Later, Annie meets the mysterious girl, who introduces herself as Ondine. Annie immediately recognizes her from her father's story and realizes it wasn't made up. She tells Ondine that Serki is her father and that she suffers from kidney failure. Annie asks if Ondine has magical powers, but Ondine says she doesn't know what she's talking about. However, she does confess she came from the sea and that if she doesn't find her lost covering and bury it on land, the sea will soon call her back. As they part ways, a mysterious man is seen observing them from afar, silently watching. Serki later invites Ondine on another fishing trip. She wears the dress he bought for her. While on the boat, they see a patrol boat approaching. Ondine hides, steering the boat with her feet. As she sings again, the nets fill even more than before. The patrol boards their boat, and Serki cleverly lets them search until they find her. But surprisingly, they just leave without doing anything. Serki reassures her that she's not a figment of his imagination. Other people can see her too. Ondine gains more confidence. She and Serki grow closer, and she bonds more with Annie. They clean up the grandmother's old house and discover Annie loves the water but has never been able to swim. Ondine teaches her how. While they're swimming, Ondine bumps her foot against something and pulls it up, It's the covering she believes she needs to bury to stay on land forever. Annie watches her closely, trying to figure out if she's truly a mermaid. To test her, Annie lets herself fall into the water. Ondine rushes to rescue her, proving her care and humanity. As the bond between Circe, Ondine, and Annie deepens, a new danger appears. The mysterious man watching them is Vladek, Ondine's husband from her past life. She reveals to Circe that her real name is Joanna, and she used to smuggle drugs with Vladek. During a smuggling run, the police surrounded their boat. Now he's back to recover the drugs she hid. Joanna is terrified for Circe and Annie's safety. She decides to tell Vladek where the drugs are. She takes him and Annie to the hiding spot, but the drugs aren't there. Annie confesses she moved them because she didn't want Joanna to leave. Eventually, she takes them to where she really hid them, on Circe's boat. Vladek retrieves the package, but Joanna pushes him into the water, knowing he can't swim. He drowns, ending the threat once and for all. Joanna then faces another problem. She can't stay in Ireland unless she applies for asylum or marries an Irish citizen. Circe decides to marry her, and together they begin a peaceful life with Annie. The movie ends with an unexpected love story between a fisherman, a mysterious woman from the sea, and a sick little girl who brought them together.